would like to help me produce better and more content and get extra bonus videos every month, it only takes 30 seconds to support me on Patreon via the link below, patreon.com/Amy Wild Adventures. Stay wild! Hello, I'm Amy Wild, and for this episode, I'm in Australia's Great Northern Territory. Here, we're at Berry Springs. Time to explore. I was about 16 when I last came here. I remember it as an absolute paradise. That much hasn't changed. And hey, I've already spotted something. Check it out. It's a northern yellow-faced turtle, Emidura tannibaraga. Can you see that dark line running through the pupil? That's one of their diagnostic features. Don't worry, little one, I'm not a crocodile. Okay, I'd better leave you alone. My first barramundi of the trip, as well as making a delicious meal. These huge fish are icons of Northern Australia. Some other epic aquatics I'm finding include these black catfish, which I will not be cuddling on account of their venomous dorsal and pectoral spines. Freshwater longtoms. Those two beaks are actually two toothy jaws which they use to grab and eat smaller fish. Oh yes, and my favourites, the archerfish. These are the fishies that famously fling jets of water at their land-bound prey through a groove in their mouth, dropping them to their watery grave. Oh, and this little banded grunter that's found a tasty meal.
I was ready for it to be touristy. I admit I did freak out when I first arrived. There are so many people and I got a bit worried about my ability to find all-important solitude. But thankfully, these narrower little streams branching off are completely abandoned and empty,
allowing me to find all the fishies in peace. Ooh, like these genuine rainbow fish. I've kept these as pets, but it's so much better seeing them in their natural habitat, trying to stay away from the longtoms and barramundi in the shallows, I reckon. Oh, speaking of those two predators, how's this? Longtoms usually stick to the top of the water column, but this one is clearly sticking with the barra down below. I can't find anything on this relationship being a thing online. I wonder if it's a fluke, or either a predatory symbiosis or commensalism of sorts. Perhaps they either hunt better together, or one scavenges off the other's success? Super curious. Oh, and these guys are special, a lovely spotted scat. These bottom or benthic scavengers are also popular aquarium fishies. I'm just loving how deep, crystal clear and teeming with fish this place is. I honestly feel like I'm swimming in an aquarium. So sad to see the tourists back over in the busy area just floating on their pool noodles with no idea what they're missing out on. Like these, they call them tarpons, I believe. And a stunning, I believe it's a diamond mullet over here. Until recently, these were thought to be juveniles of another species, but are now considered distinct. And what else can I find, I wonder? Needs more dark crevices. Ooh, like this one. I wonder... Oh, see that? Never thought I'd find a croc at such a popular spot. Don't worry, this is just a freshie, but still... I will resist the urge to pat his tail. I wouldn't want to disturb his hard-won peace and quiet. This is so cool though. Look at him just napping the day away. I'm so happy. By the way, I should probably mention, this Northern Territory series will be divided into two main parts. This one, where we explore the surrounds of Darwin from a home base, and the second, where we hire a full drive and camping gear and spend a full week exploring the most remote national park areas we can get to. But where was I? Yes, next stop. Here, we're at Elizabeth River, and already I've spotted a red-headed honeyeater. Don't have my big lens though, so here's a close-up in photo form. Stunning male. These guys only live in the most northern parts of Australia, so I'm super excited to see him.
I must admit it took me half a beat to recognise what I was looking at here, but this, these are the skeletal remains of a big turtle. Something amazing about their shells is they are, like the shell of a turtle is literally a rib cage, like an expanded rib cage. So you can see here, this is where the rib attaches to the spine, and that's the the rib bone itself, and it's just grown this amazing shell plate off the rib itself. So when you think about it, a turtle has its rib cage on the outside, which is pretty amazing anatomically. So this would have been hunted likely by some indigenous people, hopefully, as they're actually allowed to do so. It's a mudskipper.
For a moment here, I'm thinking we're about to witness an unlikely battle. But our fleet-finned, something in between, friend is wiser than that and continues on his way. Mangroves are great, but I'm excited to head downstream, seeking fresher waters and more wildlife. How great is this tropical landscape? Look, here's a forest kingfisher with a tasty meal. Oh, and these guys, super common up here, but as a kid I was obsessed with the double-barred finches. If you can find these in the wild, you know you're in one of Amy's favourite parts of Australia. Okay, we're finding heaps of amazing wildlife, but there is one species that I have special eyes for. It would be a lifer for me. I'm hoping against hope to find an Arafura file snake. Okay, spoiler alert, I did not find one. But here's some footage of the one that lives at the Territory Wildlife Park. You have got to go there. These totally unique, non-venomous, nocturnal, life-bearing snakes indeed have raspy scales like a file. They're entirely aquatic, incredibly slow and clumsy on land, and feed on fish. Theory is those rough scales are designed to keep a grip on their fishy prey during constriction. Also, their scales have hairs. Yep, up to 7 hairs per head scale, and 1 on every other. They're microscopic sensory hairs that help them detect prey in the dark. So special. Anyway, moving on. Here I found a stunning, harmless golden orb weaver, I believe Nephila insignis, and here I could no longer resist the urge to boop her. Boop. This dragon clearly has no desire for any Amy boopage. Oh, and how's this for a stunner to wrap up with? A golden phase common tree snake, Dendrolaphus punctulatus. They are common, and around here gold is the typical coloration. They also come in green and blue. But you don't see them as much on account of their normally being high up in trees, so I'm excited. These snakes are totally non-venomous. But this guy sure doesn't want me to know that. Oh yes, you are terrifying, mate. So scary. Now, this looks like chasing here, but he is literally just trying to make me back off enough so that he's got time to bolt up a tree. He'll be keen to get back up into those high little twigs and go back to hunting frogs and lizards. And with that, we're out of time for part 1. Stay tuned for part 2, where the off-road camping adventure begins. Stay wild!